Hello, hello? Is this thing still freaking work? I believe so. Hey there. Long time no see, huh? Alva here, and there's several things I wanted to stop by and discuss with you guys today. Mainly, I want to run down what's going on with Team 17 and why that's affecting things like Marauders and other games. After that, I'd like to give a small little channel update and tell you fine fellers where we've been. So, let's dig in, shall we? Before I begin this, I want to make it clear that I have no ill intentions towards anyone at Small Impact Games, the developers of Marauders, nor do I have any issues with anyone in small positions at Team 17 like the community managers. The situation with Team 17 is nasty and honestly has got to be one of the most frustrating things I've witnessed in a long time, especially for these devs and lower level employees. To start off, as you know, we took some time off here at the channel, and that lasted a little longer than expected. But I've been keeping my eye on Marauders content on my Steam homepage, but I didn't really see anything at all in October's in regards to any updates. From what I remember, we were supposed to get a new map, bosses, and even possibly guilds in October, but I found it strange we had not even gotten one of those things. That's not really like SIG at all. The only things we've gotten since August was a dev stream September 7th, a patch September 14th, and a small research blog on September 20th. So I started digging a bit. I noticed Met was still active on Reddit, and the Discord was more than active with plenty of burning questions. After a bit, I came to realize that the whole reason SIG hasn't been able to put out an update is all on Team 17. Now, I'm not sure exactly how all of this works, so take this with a grain of salt, but this is just a little bit of detective work I did. A dev's relationship with a publisher comes with some benefits, and QA testing is one of those. When Small Impact Games wants to drop an update, I assume it has to be approved by Team 17's QA department or approved by someone over in that world of Team 17. There is no other reason for the updates to have not dropped. From what I understand, SIG has updates ready to go for us. They're just stuck in corporate hell over at Team 17. So, what's going on with Team 17 and its QA departments? Well, firstly, they're going through some massive shakeups as a company, but we'll get to those later. I want to tell a story first. I'm not sure if it's totally related, but it's a story of community backlash, anger, and questions. If you haven't heard the story of Hell Let Loose, allow me to explain. Hell Let Loose is a World War II team-based first-person shooter developed by Black Matter Studio and released in early access in 2019. It became a pretty solid hit with a very good, healthy player base. Later on in its life, Black Matter Studio sold Hell Let Loose to Team 17, and Team 17 started developing the game themselves. Team 17 apparently made a team from the ground up to continue the development of the game.
For this studio, we created a development team from scratch. The dev team itself is a mixture of all of the major disciplines of game development. So you've got game design, which is what I work in, art, code, and QA and production. Earlier in 2023, when the new devs took over, they released a roadmap and had a great dev blog, and it all seemed to be on the up and up. The ideas they had seemed okay, but some voiced concerns of things in the roadmap changing the way the core game played, but overall, I think most were excited for the new dev team and the plans they had. And then, at the end of May of 2023, Update 14 came out, and it was a massive stinker. They didn't have a public test server to test it beforehand, and it was a buggy mess that really messed with the core gameplay. Movement speed was increased, dolphin diving became the norm, guns, iron sights didn't work, etc. Hell Let Loose was always a grounded World War II shooter in the vein of things like Squad. Couple this with later proposed small game modes, and the player base felt almost if these changes were to change the game entirely and market it to the movement shooter or wider player base than before. The community was in an uproar. But it got worse. Flash forward to a couple weeks after that update in the beginning of June, it was time for the PC gaming show. And Hell Let Loose had a trailer to show off the new direction of the game. What the fans and world saw was this.
Odd buildings and terrain, weird camera angles, horrible voice acting,
Keep moving! We've taken a German opening!
floating arms, M1 Garand clipping, and just something that looked like cheap jank made in someone's basement on their free time. From a company that had a revenue of $120 million and bought this very same game for $31 million. An already upset fanbase who thought the first big update since Black Matter Studios left was a lacking mess then saw a trailer that looked like what they called a 12-year-old's Gmod machinima. The community was in an uproar, but even worse this time. This was a terrible way to show off Hell Let Loose at a game show. Nobody would have been hyped to play this. It looked nothing like Hell Let Loose at all. And again, compare that to the earlier trailer I showed you. Update 14 was supposed to be a major release too. It introduced a whole new faction, the British, and the African theater to the game. But it ended with the loss of a decent chunk of its loyal fans, with many of them jumping ships to things like Squad and Postscriptum. Not long after, Team 17 released an apology for everything and said they would bring back public testing, revert some of the changes, and just overall listen to what the community wants. It seems to have worked, and I will say, even to this day, Hell Let Loose has public servers for testing and more. Though, the damage might have already been done. I'm no expert in game health, but Hell Let Loose has enjoyed growth its whole lifespan thus far. In 2022, it enjoyed almost 6.5 thousand players on a daily basis, but since May of this year, it's lost around 25% of its player base, and that has yet to really rebound. I tell you all this simply to wonder. Did this event change anything with Team 17? Was the way they do QA changed due to this? Did this affect Marauders at all? Is it more likely that QA testing became more rigorous due to this? I honestly doubt that, but this is kind of important to keep in mind. There might have been some shakeups at the QA department all the way back in these days. So what's going on at Team 17 that we know for sure? Well, the company is going through some massive shakeups, and we'll start with the top. Debbie Bestwick is the CEO, but announced earlier this year that she would be stepping down and named Steve Bell to take over her role. Steve Bell formerly worked with the digital marketing company Iris, so if you're confused about that choice, allow a quick, uneducated simplification of something business related. See, back in the day, board members and CEOs were chosen for their industry expertise and ties to the businesses, i.e. a guy who worked with John Deere marketing would be a good fit for New Holland marketing, or a guy who worked for Adidas would be good at Puma marketing. You get the point. But this seems to have changed in the 80s when companies just started realizing that they didn't care what industry the CEO or marketing director was in, but what their track record was across the several other companies they worked with and how successful they were in their role. A digital marketer for a shoe company can come work as a digital marketer for a video game company and vice versa. It doesn't matter about passion, it matters about profit and success. Obviously, this isn't a big surprise, but it's something to keep in mind if you're ever confused as to why shoe directors are working for video game companies or stuff like that. That's basically the answer. So, at this exact moment, Team 17 is going through the end of an era with a CEO, which is a massively confusing time for most people. Lots of questions are raised and people are worried about their futures. It also means business gets goofy and it's hard to handle things internally due to shakeups. Then we add in the special sauce, which is that the overall gaming industry right now is laying off tons of people, with groups like CD Projekt Red and others laying off people despite some massive successes. But Team 17 seems to be one of the hardest and most bizarre I've seen. Firstly, Team 17 is cutting almost a third of its workforce, mainly in the QA and marketing sectors. I think comparing that with like CD Projekt Red was doing like 10% of their company, not a third. But Team 17, it's left a lot of people who work with them scared about the future of their games when things will settle back down. Tom Phillips of Eurogamer writes in an article, "So deep are the cuts that Eurogamer has been contacted by developers working on games set to be published by Team 17 that have been left concerned about the company's ability to continue working on their project due to the sheer numbers of people likely to be made redundant and the knowledge and skills being lost," writes Tom. Development partners were not told of the layoffs before they were confirmed publicly by Team 17, sources close to the company said. One developer said they first realized the team they had been working with was likely no longer at the company after seeing their posts on LinkedIn looking for new employment. So basically, Team 17 employees in QA and marketing are losing their jobs left and right, and this boils down to the people that devs like Small Impact Games work with. The people they submit their updates to could no longer be in the company anymore, and nobody is seeing the emails because they haven't reassigned them to someone else. What's worse is some of the cool community managers of the Discords, Reddits, etc. could also be affected by this too. And to rub salt in the wound, they have no idea what's going on. They can't make announcements, they can't give us answers, and that's because they have no clue either. I honestly feel bad for them. Sitting around sweating bullets about losing your job while people ask you where the game's updates are, and your boss isn't answering your text or emails because he isn't with the company anymore. It just sucks all around. So right now, let's say you're a dev called Decent Impact Games, and you've got a humble little extraction shooter called Plunderers. You've been working on it and released it to a pretty good reception. Douchebags on YouTube make videos about it, and you're on a steady track to release smaller updates bi-weekly and bigger updates every so often, and it's all going swell. Then you submit your latest update to the QA department at Team 17 and nothing happens. You wait and wait. You reach out to your Team 17 partners to make an announcement, but they don't know anything, nor can they approve that action. You then have to sit around and wait some more. It just sucks, and I hope and I pray that it all works out soon and everyone comes out unscathed from all of this. It sucks that SIG is suffering and people are pissed at them for nothing that's their fault. That's kind of why I wanted to make this dive into Team 17. Team 17 has a long history in the industry, and a lot of it's, well, yeah. But it's not SIG or really any other dev associated with Team 17's fault. I know it's frustrating, and we just want to play some new Marauders content, but we've got to hold the line with SIG for a while. It's not their fault nor the small employees at Team 17's. It's the board of directors and those near them shitting the bed with this. It's a disaster of failure to communicate, which shouldn't be forgotten. That sort of stuff is talked about in business school all the freaking time. I'm not sure how we can help out SIG and the other devs other than supporting them in this time and being patient. If I could send an email like, hey, SIG needs approval ASAP for their game's updates to someone at Team 17, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But again, I think it'll all work out, but remember where to direct your anger and frustrations. Thanks to those who wrote the articles I used, and thanks to those in the Discord asking good questions while being patient and polite. I haven't seen a ton of rage or anything, but just felt like something of this needed to be condensed somewhere where you could read it and kind of get an idea what's going on. Okay, with all that out of the way, I wanted to do a quick channel update. Firstly, we hit 900 subs in our first year on YouTube. I still have no idea how that happened, and Zach and I are still trying to figure out why you guys like us so much. For months, I made sure you guys had a video each Friday and held to that standard for a very, very long time, and so I do owe you all an apology for the lack of videos. He's literally... Oh, we hit that mine! Zach and I have been going through some life stuff lately, and it's kind of held us up. I will admit we spent most of September playing Baldur's Gate 3 and Starfield, and honestly we just got a tad bit burnt out churning out Marauders videos, and we're excited to play some new games, so I thought it would be a good idea to take a small month-long break. Now, October, when we plan to return, is when things got goofy, sadly. Zach started the horrific process of buying a house in a new state he's not lived in for long, and he's encountered nothing but issues throughout. And I have sadly had some health issues which have kept me from getting excited, is how I put it. Look, I won't bore you with the details, nor am I trying to seek sympathy here, but I'm not dying or anything. I just have some weird pain in my stomach region that the doctors are having a hard time figuring out. It's basically kept me from playing anything that gets me to like tense up or, get excited, due to it just being really, really uncomfortable. So I've been basically working from home and just doing the bare minimum, and what little games I play are very relaxing, but hopefully it'll all get figured out soon and Zach and I can get back to doing what we do best, which is listen to Zach tell horror jokes while we somehow manage to make it out of raids. All in all, it's not been super bad or anything, but I did think you guys deserve to know what's been going on, as a ton of you have been super loyal to us and are always down in our comments. That's the greatest thing about the Marauders community and all of this stuff. I mean, I always remember that time one of you killed us in a raid and Zach complained about it in a video and you commented down below. And just like little stuff like that is what makes our small community great, Marauders community great. It's just great. I do sincerely apologize for not sticking to the standard of weekly videos anymore, and hope you can forgive me. I want to share my love of things with you and didn't want to just pump out videos just for the sake of doing it. It just felt wrong to me. I had even thought of digging through old recordings to try and find anything I could upload, but that's not fair to you guys. That old stuff didn't make it in the videos because it's not good.
Hey, Luke.
What?
Can I interest you in the special right here?
Dude, Zach's special sauce! Hey.
Making myself fun, dude.
In good news though, Zach and I have had some ideas on content we can make coming very, very soon. I've discussed some ideas on YouTube in the past, but we're going to try and move forward on some of them. The first thing we'd like to discuss is the games we played in 2023 and our top 5 games of the year. The Steam Winter Sale is coming up, and so maybe we can help you out when it comes to picking out some great games. We're also hopefully going to start diversifying what we play. Don't worry, you'll still get your Marauders fix, but as you'll see in our 2023 games video, Zach and I play a lot of games in a ton of genres. I dare even say FPS game sits pretty low in our overall played style of games. I'd also like to get with him and discuss games we love fondly and shine light on them like I did with the GTFO video, as there are a ton of games that I don't really see mentioned much that we play, and that's honestly a shame. Overall, I think that's all I've got for you guys today. Again, sorry for the lack of videos and hope you guys still love us. Here's to more videos and to small impact games, which gave Zach and I a game to share with you all. We'll see you guys very, very soon.